Good morning. We are live. Find us on Facebook. We're live. We're using our imaginations today. It's only 11 a.m., but we're going to pretend it's nighttime in our picture. So find us on Facebook, log in, tell us you're there. Give us a little comment, give us a thumbs up. I use my imagination every morning because when Joey and Mark tell me who's logged in, then I imagine you're sitting at the tables around me. Of course, you'd be all covered up with all the supplies that are sitting on the tables around me.
Why is it all fuzzy?
But
Just tap on her face.
for some reason
There
we
you
look
go.
a little fuzzy.
That's better.
Did that fix it?
That's better.
Okay, so let us know you're there. Tell me who's out there. Sophia, you there yet?
Alex,
Casey.
Valentini, Emily.
Hi, Valentina. Hi, Alex.
Emily.
Emily's there. Hi,
Sarah
Emily.
Elizabeth.
Hi, Sarah Elizabeth. Are you going to do this remotely online with Mom? I'll be curious to see what you draw and what Mom draws, because today we have a little creative ability to change things up.
Lydia and Patrick.
Deb's on.
Hi, Sissy.
Patrick and Lydia.
Hi, Patrick. Hi, Lydia. Oh, I'll be real curious to see if you two draw the same thing. We're doing a silhouette by the moonlight. So we went from sunny picnic yesterday with ants, and we're sitting out on the grass in the moonlight today. So we'll talk about how we can draw different things to be spotlighted with the moonlight. Let's see, who have I not seen yet? Haven't seen Sophia and Casey yet.
Ava.
Nick, did you have a test yesterday? Is Nick tuned in yet? Is Ava's there? Hi, Ava.
Brandon.
Hi, Brandon. Brandon might want to draw a car parked in the moonlight. Have the Ford symbol shining on the front of the car in the moonlight. That'd be pretty cool. I'll have to figure out how to do that, Brandon. I'm sitting here with a whole pile of canvases on my lap. These are like this many of all the canvases that are stacked on the table behind Joey. We're putting canvases in your bags next week. So be sure when we finish our lesson today to go on and order your bags for next week, because we have a certain number of canvases, and the bags that get ordered first will be able to paint with us next week. So we have lots and lots of canvases stacked back there, but they'll go quickly. So go on and order your bag, and we'll put a canvas in there. We've got big pots of paint we're going to put in there, with brushes, and we're going to do a really cool picture next week.
Brandon, Ava, Alexis.
Alexis. Hi, Alexis. Let's
there's
see.
Nick.
Well, hi, Nick. Did your test go okay? You had a test yesterday, I think.
Morgan C.
Hi, Morgan C.
Adlin, Sadie.
Adeline, Sadie. Hi, girls. I have to meet these people. Nick, it's hard for me to imagine some of them sitting around the table. I was just saying that when you all log in, Joey and Mark tell me who's logged in, and so I can imagine Nick, and you're sitting at our table right there where you usually sit. And when Eva signs on, I imagine her sitting at that table over there. So I'd have to find a new place to put Emily and Adeline and Sadie and all these people I haven't met. So some of them I have to imagine in my mind. Morgan C. I got to see the other day when she came with her mom. So I just have to pick out a seat. You know, do you do this whenever you go someplace on a regular basis? Like Nick comes here each week for homeschool classes on Tuesday afternoons. And do you always tend to sit in the same seat? I always do that when we go to church on Sunday morning, whenever we go someplace that you go on a regular basis. You tend to find your favorite seat, and you always sit there in the same place. So some of you guys that are logging in, I know exactly where in my mind I imagine you sitting in the studio. Of course, our tables aren't in the same place, and we don't have any chairs, and all we do is have supplies stacked all over the place right now.
Nick said he hoped for 100, but he got a 93, and he's proud of himself.
Very good. What kind of test was it, Nick? Nick did really well on his test, everybody.
There's Bay, Madison, and Anna.
Oh, hi, Bay. See, I can imagine Bay. Right now, Bay, I'm imagining you sitting at the wheel back there. Because, Bay, we were doing some wheel classes for our 4th grade and older kids. We had one of our potters in here teaching them how to actually throw on the wheel. And Bay was back there throwing pots on the wheel. They were looking really good, too, Bay. So, right now, I'm imagining Bay sitting at the wheel and Nick's sitting right there. I haven't seen Eva sign on, have I? So Eva's not in her seat yet over there. So we are going to we're going to use our black paper today. So you want to grab your piece of black paper. And I'd go ahead and grab your pencil and eraser if you want to. We can lightly sketch. We're actually going to use our white colored pencil. This is it. We're black paper and white colored pencil is going to make our whole drawing today. You can lightly sketch with your white pencil. If you press really lightly with it, the eraser will erase it. Or you can sketch really lightly with your pencil and the eraser will erase that. You don't want to erase hard on a piece of black paper like this because sometimes it picks up some of the pigment of the black. But that's all we're going to need today is our white colored pencil, our pencil and our eraser, and your black piece of paper. I have a dog silhouetted in the moonlight. Can you tell what dog it is? Anybody who's been to this studio, would you guess who that is? That would be Duchess. Duchess is next door taking her nap, so she doesn't bark during our broadcast. So I've got a dog watching the moonlight on my drawing. We are going to look at drawing whatever you would like. You might not have a dog at home. You might have a cat at home. Let's see if I can make that balance. There we go. You might have a cat at home. See, we could draw a cat silhouetted in the moonlight. It's really fun to draw something that it's only lit up by the moonlight. Mr. Joey's going to move in a little bit so you can see. It's really cool when we draw something. Do you see how we don't really see much of the detail over here? So the moonlight's like shining a flashlight on something. So we're really going to use the white colored pencil just to really spotlight where that flashlight would be hitting you with light. So I've got a dog. My dog looks like Duchess. She has long floppy ears. You might have a dog that has pointed ears. You might have a cat. I love the cat's big bushy tail here. You might think that this is a really good drawing if you haven't been able to go visit your grandparents. If they live in another state and they had been planning to come down here in our pretty spring, this would be great if grandma might have a cat. You could draw a cat. Don't know too many people that have cats as pets. It's a big dog thing. We could even draw ourselves sitting in the grass. See, I imagined I had long hair. This would be, let's see, who do we know that's got hair that long? Eva's hair's short. Lydia, is your hair this long that you could have a ponytail? Or you could draw short hair on it. So maybe we'll draw a person sitting in the grass. We might draw a cat sitting in the grass. We might draw a dog sitting in the grass. So be thinking what you want to draw sitting in the grass. And do we have most people tuned in? Mr. Joey's waving his hand like, move on with it, Mom. Okay, I'm going to let Mr. Joey pull the camera over here so we'll get ready to draw. Oh, I forgot to get myself a clean piece of black paper. Joey, you can grab me a piece of paper. Okay, so I'm going to move our other ideas out of the way here. I really like the cat. I think the cat looks cool because the cat's got these pointy ears. We see just a little bit of the whiskers of the cat there. And the cat's got this long bushy tail. So this is my paper I'm going to start with. And Mr. Joey's going to get camera set. I'm going to turn myself a little bit so I don't kick Mr. Joey's camera. If I keep my foot there, it won't kick it, right, Joey? Okay, so we don't need the other colored pencils. I'm going to put my dog down here. I think a lot of people have dogs. So maybe we'll go with the thought of a dog. And then what I'll do is we're going to draw in our moon, and I'm going to draw in a dog here, but then we'll look at how to draw maybe a cat. If you'd like to draw a cat, we'll look at how to draw a person if you want to draw a person. Okay? So I'll draw the dog first, and then we'll look at drawing a cat, and we'll look at how to draw a person. This person looks like she's just sitting there, chilling and relaxing. Maybe she's got a book in her lap there. So first thing we'll do is draw the dog, but the first thing we're going to start with is the moon up here. You see how we've got a circle for the moon, but I didn't draw the whole thing. And we used our white pencil to make it look like we're seeing more light on this side of it. Now, that looks like a nice, perfect circle that I drew, didn't I? It's easiest if you pick up something that's got a round circle to it. Hand me one of those pots of paint off the... If you've got any of our little pots of paint that have come in your activity bags, I had an extra pot of paint from when we painted earlier. So if you have any of these little pots of paint left, that's what I turned over, and I drew right around the edge of this. So we want a circle about this big. So maybe the bottom of a cup that you've got, about this big of a circle for our moon. You want it big enough that it looks like it's lighting up our object down here. So find something that's about as big as one of your pots of paint. If you've got these little pots with your watercolors in them still, that'll be perfect. We're going to want to turn it over and use the lid. The bottom of it just seemed a little small for my moon. So if you've got pots of paint, go grab one of your watercolor pots of paint, and we can turn it over like this for a circle. If not, look for like a small glass. What else would be a good circle you could use? Maybe the bottom of your drink bottle, bottom of a water bottle, bottom of a cup, all kinds of things. If you look around, you'll see things that look like circles. We want to take your circle, we're going to put it up near the top of the paper. If we look at my drawing here, and I found the middle of my piece of paper is about here. So find about the middle of your paper, and look, this is about the middle of my paper. We're going to put the paper vertical up and down. Is that better, Joey?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're going to put the paper vertical up and down, and this is about the middle of the paper. And look how interesting that is. We're going to find the middle of the paper, and the moon's going to be just to this side of it at the top. And our silhouette, what's being lit up by the moonlight, is going to be just to the other side of the center down here at the bottom. So they make this nice diagonal like this. That makes a good composition. Okay? So we're going to put the moon just to that side of my center, and when we draw our object, it's going to be on the other side of the center. So find the middle of your paper here. So I'm going to move over and get my clean paper. Oh, is that good, Joey?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is about the middle of my paper. Brush off all my fuzzies. Here's about the middle of my paper. So I'm going to take my round object that I found, and I'm not going to have it quite touch the top, but I'm going to put it near the top. So I want it over towards that corner on this side of the center. And then when I take my white colored pencil, I'm only going to draw like half of it. And when I put my line on, I'm not going to press too hard. We're going to come back and press harder and add more white where we want it to be the brightest moonlight. But when you trace your circle, we don't need to press very hard. So I'm going to hold my circle in place and come around the top. I'm even going to not make a solid line all the way around. And I'm only going to go about halfway around the circle. So it looks like this. Okay, did you get your circle on there? Well, it's a little more than half of the circle. And I didn't fill it all in. So right now it looks like we've got part of a circle sitting in the sky. We want it to look like the moon. Now the surface of the moon, when you look at my moon over here, I could fill in a few more spots. The surface of the moon almost looks like a solid white circle when you look up in the sky, but it's got little shadows in places, doesn't it? Have you ever looked at the moon and thought you could see like two eyes and a smiley mouth? The moon has craters in the surface of it, which make shadows in it. So we want to come in some places, and if remember how we talked about a flashlight shining on our dog or our cat or our person down here? So thinking of this as the flashlight, the moon being the flashlight shining light down here, right in this part of the moon's going to be our brightest part. That's where the light's shining. The back side of the moon is in the dark, in the shadows here. So we want to come on the front side of our circle here. This is good, Joe. And we're going to use your white colored pencil, and I'm going to color a little bit in right up to the edge. Now, I don't want to just color in a stripe. So I'm going to leave a few little black spots, and it's like I'm coloring in some blobs. Come along here and color some blobs in. Leave a lot of black space. We can always go fill in more black space if our moon looks a little too crater pitted, but it's a little harder to take the white off. So come around here on this part, on this front side that's shining down on our dog or our cat. That's where we want the most white. Something just went, oh, Joey's fiddling with my light back there. Okay, right on this part of the moon is where we want the most light. So I'm pressing a little harder, and I'm getting that nice and white. Out here, you know how we talked yesterday, the harder you grip your pencil and press, the harder you color. And then if you loosen the grip on your pencil, let go of the pencil a little bit, that makes you press lighter. As we go back here, we want to press a little lighter. It's like when we shaded our watermelon yesterday, and I saw the most awesome pictures of watermelon. You guys did a great job shading from the dark red up to the light pink. So we're kind of doing the same thing with the moon here. We want our most white out here by the front, and then we want it to get just a little bit less white going back. And leave some of these nice pits in the moon. We want it to look like it's got craters in the surface of it. So far away, they're going to look a little darker in a few spots. So we can add a little light white back in here. Put my clock over there, Joe. Okay, so we'll put a little, I'm pressing really lightly up in here. See, can you see my white that's showing up just a little bit? Do we see a little bit of this, Joey? And then when we get out to the edge, I'm going to press a little harder and put a little more white out here. So give yourself some nice light white. So it looks like the moon's just fading into the shadow back there. On the front side, we want to see more of the white. I left some craters near the front though too. Now it kind of looks like my man in the moon kind of look. Okay. So I've got the whitest part right along in here. My darker white or brighter white comes in a little bit in here, and then I did my pencil really lightly. Don't hold it very hard, and give yourself a little light white colored pencil going back that way. So my moon, I like my moon. And remember, we're going to go back and find the center of the paper. And if the center of my paper is down here, that's about the middle of my paper, right? I'm going to put my dog over here. Now, I want my dog to be big enough to see it, but I don't want him to be too close to the moon. I want the moon to still look like it's far up in the sky. So my dog comes maybe up to the middle of the paper. That's about it. So there's the middle of my paper. I know I want my dog's head below the middle of the paper, so I'm going to put my dog's head right here. I'm going to use my white pencil to just very, very lightly sketch the shape of my dog in, and then I can come back and press with my colored pencil to get the really light, bright highlights from the moonlight on him. But I'm going to be very lightly sketch with the pencil. If you press really, really, really lightly with your pencil, this white eraser will erase it. So we can put some lines in there, and even if they're still there, if they're very light, the eraser will take them off.
So remember, I found the middle of my paper here. The dog's going to be on this side. So I know he's over here. And here's about the middle of my paper going up towards the moon. So I don't want my dog's nose to be any higher than that. And he's going to be in this section right here. So I kind of plotted in my mind where I'm going to put him. So I'm going to start with his head here. Can we see over here too? So he's got kind of a round head, and then dogs have kind of this kind of rectangle U-shaped snout that sticks out. My dog's got his head lifted up like he's about to howl at the moon, although I don't think Duchess knows how to howl. So I found the middle of my paper here. I want to be over on this side, and I'm going to very lightly draw my dog's head. I'm going to very lightly put a circle. Can you see, Joey? See my very light circle? I'm not going to make it any darker till I want to put all the highlights on. So I got a light circle for his head. Now I want to add his snout. Duchess's nose sticks out. Cats don't have a snout that sticks out. So when we draw a cat, it'll be a little easier shape. But I'm going to make kind of like a U shape, except right out at the end, the bottom of the U, it's a little flat. So I want his snout to be pointing towards the moon. So I don't want to put it out here to the side. So I'm going to put it up here so it points towards the moon like this. I'm going to give him just a little bit of a U-shaped snout sticking out. Can you see my snout? Now, look how big my snout is. If I look at my dog over here, it's not quite as big as my dog's head. So I do want his head to be a little bigger than his snout. So I might make my circle of my dog's head just a little bigger. There we go. We don't want his snout to be bigger than his head. Okay, so I got the dog's head and I got the dog's snout. Duchess has long floppy ears, which are like one big long oval. Your dog might have pointy ears. If you were going to give your dog pointy ears, they're going to go up like this, like an upside down V, part of a triangle. Would we see his other ear over here? Maybe not. Might see a little bit of it, probably not with the shadow or with the silhouette. So we'd just see one pointy ear sticking up right here if your dog has pointy ears. Since Duchess doesn't have pointy ears, I'm going to erase that pointy ear. And I'm going to make my dog have long floppy ears. Now this is the back of the dog's head, right? Because her snout's pointing this way. So her ears aren't going to be way back here. Her ears are on the side of her head. So I'm going to make a little curve right here and have one ear hanging down this way. Kind of get flat on the bottom of the oval. So there's one ear hanging down. The other ear would be hanging down from this other side, right? So I'd see a little bit of this ear hanging down over here. This is the top of my dog's head. Okay? Now she's got this long kind of egg-shaped body. Remember our Easter eggs? Kind of an egg shape. That's going to be Duchess's body. Let's look at how big her body is. If I look at how big her head is, it's like two fingers together. So let's see how big her body is compared to her head. There's the size of her head. So there's 1, 2, almost 3, like 2.5. So if this is how big Duchess's head is on my drawing, I'm going to go 1, 2.5. So I want her bottom to be right along there. So give yourself a light little line so that our dog's body is big enough for its head. And she's kind of like an egg shape. What's sticking out over here? And we see a little bit of her other leg bulging out over here. This is like her big hip on the back. So I'm going to make, do you see my line at the bottom? This is, I determined Duchess's body should be about this long. So I'm going to put a big oval very lightly with my pencil. And then I'm going to add this little bulge of her back hip over here. So she's got a little bulge coming down in the grass here. It's got a little bulge on the other side. And I see her little foot sticking out here. So we'll make a curve, kind of like almost like a claw sticking out, but Duchess's feet aren't quite that long. Some dogs have really big feet. Duchess doesn't have that big of feet, so we'll cut her off a little bit. So we came out and went down, just like we're seeing part of her paw sitting on the ground. Now, she looks like a bunch of circles and ovals right now. So we want to kind of connect her head and come down her back so she looks more like a dog. And we don't want her head to look like a circle and a U, so we're going to connect her forehead up to her nose here. Now, do you see her little nose sticking out in the front of my drawing? I didn't color it all in because dogs' noses are usually black and even lit up by the moonlight. I want it to look a little darker than her fur that lit up. So I'm going to come up here on the top of her head, right here, where the moonlight's hitting the top of her head, and I'm going to use my white pencil, and I'm going to color in the top of her head. I can make the edge be a little raggedy. I don't want a real smooth edge because she's got long hair. If your dog is a smooth-haired dog, like a Lab or a Boston Terrier or a Jack Russell Terrier, you probably wouldn't have so much raggedy parts to the edges there. But this is the top of her head, and it goes right out onto her nose. So I'm going to light up with, like the flashlight lighting up, the top of her head and out to her nose. I'm going to come around the end of her snout here, which is a little flat. And then I'm going to put just the littlest lines out on front of it. I don't even connect them in the very front, but just like I was putting a little tiny itty bitty half circle out there for her nose. And I'm going to color in her nose because her whole nose is getting lit up with the moonlight. So I'm going to come down around here where it comes down to her mouth. I'm going to then loosen the grip on my pencil as I come back towards her head. I want it to get just a little lighter because the light hits the edges. And as the edges come back, they're going to get lighter. I'm going to do the same thing on the top of her head. I got her really light where the light first hits the edge of the top of her head, and then when I color in a little bit more, it's going to get just a little bit lighter with my white pencil. Okay? So she's got most of the lights hitting right out here at the front of her head and right out here on the front of her nose. And then my colored pencil got just a little looser and a little lighter. Now I'm going to light up the front edge of her ear too. So I'm going to come around where we made this little curve at the top of her ear. And I'm going to come right down this side of her ear. I'm pressing really hard with my white pencil because that's the front edge of her ear that's getting hit with all that light. And I'm going to loosen my grip. I'm going to not press so hard for the rest of her ear back here. I'm going to put a little bit of a line on the back side just so I can see how far her ear goes. I'm going to color that whole ear in, but with a very light white. Now this ear over here is kind of away from where the light's hitting, right? If it's hitting her nose, it's just going to hit a little bit on the edge of this ear maybe. I'll let the top of her head come around past that ear. And just a little bit of that ear gets lit up. And then I'm just going to leave my really light pencil coming down. My pencil's going to be really light coming down the back side of her head too. Maybe I'll see a little darker pencil line where her head and her neck meet right there. But then it's going to be very light. We're going to come down her back side. So instead of making such a round oval, dogs' backs usually get kind of flat. I'm going to flatten my oval out that I drew there. I'm going to come out a little bit for her hip there. And I'm going to bring a little bit of it in so I can tell that hip's separate. So I'll continue to the bottom of my oval where her bottom's sitting on the ground. I'm pressing not so hard on this side because we don't get too much moonlight hitting over here. I'm going to put her front of her tummy in here. This time I'm pressing harder over here because we got more light lighting her up over here. That front leg's going to get lit up because it's on the front side of her. And her front paw sitting in the grass here is going to get lit up. Okay. So we got more more white colored pencil on this front side, the front side of her ear here, on her snout here, on the top of her head here, and then the rest of it stays pretty light. Okay? So she looks like she's staring at the moon. I don't know what she thinks she's gonna see. We're gonna give some grass around her. See my long grass? We've all been stuck inside the house, so nobody's cut their grass. My grass, I'm gonna press harder in front of the dog here and get this grass really lit up by the moonlight. This grass is going to be a little lighter on the other side. And as the grass goes back, it's going to get lighter too. So I'm going to come here and I'm just going to make some long swishes. Do I want all my grass going exactly the same height and exactly straight up and down? Nah. The Duchess is sitting out in a field where the grass has kind of gotten a little wild. So we can make some lines go this way, we can make some lines go that way, we can make some taller than others, we can make some short ones. We'll just make a little bit of messy grass here like Duchess got out into the field. You could scrunch a few little flowers on the top of some of these. Maybe we got some pretty little wildflowers growing in the field where Duchess is sitting. Put a few more as the grass goes away from where the moonlight's shining. We want to loosen the grip on your pencil and make your grass lighter lines. Okay, so we can use some really very faint lines that we hardly see over here at the side. Same on this side. We'll put just some faint lines on this side. Okay, and what's the last thing we need to add to our drawing? Some stars. You can take your pencil, and stars are going to be very little, so you can just put the pencil down, squish it in for just a little tiny dot. Do the stars all line up in perfectly straight lines? Nope. If any of you love to go look at the stars at night with astronomy and see the different constellations, you could make a constellation up in the sky. The Big Dipper gets a bunch of stars that go in a curve like this, and then there's two stars that go down here, right? And it makes the cup. And which one's the North Star? The front of the cup, I think. Somebody that really knows stars will have to tell me. So stars go up in the sky in a random pattern, although I'm sure they know what kind of pattern they're trying to make. Do we see stars way down here at the ground? No, when we're looking up, we're seeing the stars up above us. So we want to keep most of the stars from Duchess's head on up. So you can fill in a bunch of stars. I'm going to let you look at if you wanted to draw a cat. If we were going to put a cat down here, we'd do it about the same. This cat's from the very back. And since a cat doesn't have a snout sticking out anyway, we might as well look at her from the back. Her head's pretty much a circle too. So we draw a circle. And her body's kind of like an oval. It's almost more of a rectangle. But we could draw a big oval underneath the cat. And most cats have pointy little ears. Now their ears are not nearly as big as Duchess's ears. So we make small little triangles on top of the cat. And then you go in, and this is the side on the cat that's going to be the bright white. And instead of drawing lines like we did on Duchess, you know how we came down and making lines on Duchess? With a cat, cats do have a lot of fur. Even short-haired cats look furry on the edge. They're not smooth like a dog. So you've got your oval that you drew here for your cat. Instead of drawing a line for the oval, we want to go along that line, and we want to make small little wishes of fur that follow that line. We can make some wishes of fur on top of her head like this. We can make wishes of fur going around her ear like this. And then we have a little bit lighter part in here. A little bit lighter parts in here. Now, as we come down, what else do we see lit up? Cats have these really long whiskers, don't they? So imagine this is the front on the other side of our cat. There's the front of her face. Her whiskers are coming from her nose here. And we're going to see just the tips of them way out here. We can make a really faint line going all the way out. And then we can press a little harder right out at the edges so we see the edges of her whiskers here. We want her very bright white coming down the side, a little bit lighter, short little lines coming inside of her. We can get a little bit of this bright white that just shows where her neck separates from her body. Do we see a little bit of white down this side? Yes. It's a little brighter on the top of her ear, and then we're not going to press quite so hard, but we're going to come all the way down this side of her ear, all the way down this side of her head, and we see just a few little very faint little suggestions of fur down this side. Now, this tail's got a big, or this cat's got a big bushy tail. So we imagine here's where she's sitting on the ground, right? So this is where her tail would attach to her body, right? So we're taking very faintly, we're going to put a line that comes out. We're going to go up to a big fat circle, or a U-shaped or an oval shape. And then do we see the rest of her tail hooking on here? No, because this is behind where the moonlight's showing. So we made a faint circle that goes up and down like you're going up a roller coaster and down the other side. And then we can come in and put some nice bright white. The tip of her tail here is really going to get hit with the moonlight. So we can put lots and lots there, and then come add some grass. Same thing, grass is going to be bright on this side, maybe a little bit brighter on this side that we see, but mostly light. Okay? How about, what if we drew a bunny rabbit sitting here? Let's pretend there's my moonlight. So I'm going to put my bunny rabbit over here, right? Bunny rabbit will do the same thing. We'll start with a round circle for the bunny's head. And what's really cool, bunny rabbits have really long ears. So we're going to go way up here for these really long ears. So we go up and down. Very skinny football. Comes to a point up here. This ear over here could flop down. I always like giving a bunny one straight ear, one floppy ear, right? So we're going to go only halfway up, and we're going to go flat across. We're going to let the other side of the ear flop down. Now we're looking at the ear from the back side, right? So I'm going to see the other side of the back of the ear. So we go up, we go flat, we come back down, and then this part of the ear flopping down would be behind here, and then it would peek out right here and join that. So we're looking at the ear from the back side, remember? We've got our round head for our bunny rabbit. Just like the cat, we're not going to see its nose. That's all on the front side. We will see a few little whiskers we'll add out here. And a bunny rabbit, they've got like a little oval body too, just like the cat. But unlike the cat and the dog, bunny rabbits have really big back legs, don't they? Those really big hips. So, and they have long feet. Their back feet are really long. I think their front feet aren't quite so long, but the back feet are. So here's our oval for the bunny's body. But we're going to see, like, put a whole nother oval on a little angle like this. We'll put an oval sticking out over here, too. These are the bunny's big back hips. And then they're going to get, you know how Duchess, is this Duchess under here? You know how Duchess had this little paw that curved out, but didn't go very far because she's got little feet? Bunny rabbits have big feet, so we're going to get this big oval coming out here. And then it's going to be flat where it hits the ground. We'll put another one over on this side. Okay? Now, bunnies have fluffy little tails, so we can put a little circle there that we're going to put a little bit of more white. Now, everything's done very lightly. So the moonlight's going to hit my bunny rabbit, and it's going to light up the front of this ear, right? So right where my ear flops over is going to get lit up. This whole top of his ear will get lit up, and then loosen your grip on your pencil. It's going to get a little lighter as it goes down. We don't want it to come all the way down. We don't want our bunny's head to look perfectly round. So when our ear gets down here, here's the top of the bunny's head. Can be a little flat on the top. And it's going to come around this side just like our cat. A little brighter out here at the side. We can come up this side of this ear, might get lit up really light. And then we'll get lighter as it goes across. So loosen the grip on your pencil, give him some light part on the rest of his ear. The rest of his head over here is going to get a little lighter on this side. So I'm loosening the grip on my pencil, not pressing so hard. The top of his head's going to be light. His ear's going to be light over here, just a little bit on this edge of that ear. Let the front of the side of his head get lit up here. What about the rest of his ear here? It's really being lit up from the back side. So we're going to keep this kind of light in here. Not as dark as this. And then just on this front edge, we'll light it up. Okay? We'll keep this side of his face a little lighter. And then we're going to go right down on the sides here. Right down on the side of my bunny. And it's going to come out on this big hip. And flop this big old bunny foot out there. Now, just like on duchesses, this big old foot can flop out here and be really, really lit up by the moonlight. This front leg sticking, this big hip, this bunny's big back hip here can get lit up because this is all being lit up by the moonlight here. So this front part of the bunny rabbit here can get lit up. And then we're going to get lighter and lighter. Loosen the grip on your pencil and get lighter as it comes across here. Fine. Whoops, I'm sorry, Joey. Okay, lighten up. I'm just going to leave the black paper right there. I'm going to put just the littlest edge to the bunny rabbit's fluffy white tail. I'm going to imagine somehow the moonlight reached because the tail was sticking out far enough. So we're going to see just a little bit. There we go. Now we'd have nice dark grass growing by the bunny here. So we can press really hard. Grass is fun. You can just come along and push and push and push and push and push. And then the grass is going to get lighter as it comes back here. It'd be lighter over here too. Okay, so we got a bunny rabbit, we got a cat, we've got a dog. And don't forget you want to add some stars. And you want to look at my person. Maybe you want to draw a person. These are fun drawings to do. They don't take long. We just look at blocking them in lightly with your pencil. Joey's going to hand me my person over here. Okay. Let's look at this person real quick. If you wanted to draw a person down there, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to find the middle of the paper. The person's going to be on this side, and we don't want their head to come any higher than the middle of the paper. But for a person, we're going to look at them from the side instead of the back, because what makes her look like a person is we see a nose, right? So you can do the same thing. You can start with a round oval shape for the person's head. We're going to see a little bit of their neck. And then their body's almost like a big upside down U. So we got a neck that comes down from your oval head. Give yourself a little bit of neck. A little bit longer back here, a little bit shorter up here. Makes them kind of look like maybe they're reading a book in their lap. Then give yourself this nice big U-shaped body. It's going to come right down to the grass. Now my body's worth about 2 of its heads. So here's how big my oval was. And I'm going to go 1, 2. That's how long I want my body to be. So make sure this body's about twice as big as the head. Draw yourself an oval. And then you can put 2 more ovals. And you want to make this upside down U for their body. Come right down there. And we'll pretend she's got her knees bent. So her book's sitting on her lap there. So we want to come up the hill and look at where her knees come. See how far up her knees come? Up to where this person's shoulders would be. So go up the hill, round up where your kneecap is, so you're about opposite her shoulders or his shoulders, and then come down the other side. It's like making a part of a capital A here, when we're a little rounded at the top, and then come down here and give a little V. You can be more pointed here where the one leg comes up and bends for the other part of the leg. Now, if you got long hair, you could give yourself a ponytail. If you're drawing this drawing could be a boy, it could be a girl, it could be a mom, it could be a dad, it could be grandma. So put whatever kind of hair on this person that you want. Do you see how I got a little bit of it? A little bit of bangs, a little bit coming off the front side. We don't want the person to look bald unless they happen to be bald. Then you could make a nice round shiny top to their head. But if you want them to look like they have hair, we need to put, just like we did a little fur coming off the edges of Duchess's ears, we want to put a little bit of wispy hair. So if you have short hair, give yourself a little wispy hair back here. If you got long hair and you want it hanging down your back, then let it curl. Give us a few little wispies where it hangs on your back. And then this is the part you want to light up with your white pencil. Color hard on the top of your knee. Color hard on the front of the body and the neck. When you had just an oval here, what we want to do is come down about halfway to the oval. We're going to come in a little bit. We're going to go out for a little nose. Then we're going to come in for your chin. So find about the middle of your oval. I've got her face tipped like this, don't I? Instead of my nose being just straight across, I wanted her to look like she was looking down at a book. So I imagined here's the middle of my oval, and I gave her some hair on the top, angled her forehead in just a little bit here, came out with a little bit of a nose, and then a chin that came down here, just like I'm coming down and turning a corner. So this all gets lit up with some nice dark white. Well, nice light white, nice bright white. We're going to light up the front of her with some nice bright white. Light up the front of her leg with some nice bright white. Light up, that gets hard to say, light up the top of her ponytail with some nice bright white. And then you want to loosen the grip on your pencil and fill in the rest of her, not all the way, but we want a little bit lighter color. And then you want to just leave some black. The back side outline is just really light. So we've got a dog looking at the moon. Don't forget you want to add some stars. We've got a dog. We've got a person. We've got, I love the bunny rabbit. We got a bunny rabbit looking up at the moon. And we got a cat looking up at the moon. So we got all kinds of things that could be looking at the moon. You could get really complicated. If we got somebody out there, we've got some of our older kids watching, you could get really complicated. Look at my person sitting on a tree limb looking at the moon. So if you wanted to do something like that, you still want to make sure you got enough space in your body. This person's sitting on the limb, just like this person's sitting on the ground. So I got an oval for their head, and I got the equivalent of like twice that amount, 1, 2, and they're sitting on the limb. And below there, I didn't want to get into too much detail, so I just kind of gave a triangle. We got one leg coming down, the other leg crossing it, and that's about the same distance. The body on top of the limb, the body below the limb, and then I hung her feet down there like her legs were crossed. So you could get really complicated. You could try all kinds of things to draw if you wanted to. I'm gonna lay those there. I got 2 duchesses here, and remember, there might be somebody like your grandmother who has a cat that's shut at home, and maybe you didn't get to see her this spring break. Maybe she wasn't allowed to come down, or you weren't allowed to go visit with everything going on. So maybe you could draw a picture of her cat sitting out in the grass looking up at the moon. Maybe you could draw a picture of their dog. Okay? So Mr. Joey's going to pull the camera back. I'm going to turn back around. And be
sure and post, because now I want to see if you drew rabbits or cats or dogs or people. Could you put more than one person sitting in the grass? You could put a person facing this way, and you could turn around and put a person facing the other direction. You could draw one person facing this way and one person facing that way. Just think of where the flashlight would be shining on them, and that's where you put your bright white. They could be leaning against each other's backs to hold them up. So see what all you can come up with for your silhouettes here. This is Duchess, so let me know if you drew your pet, if you've got a pet outside. I love the bunny rabbit. I learned that Edith's got a bunny rabbit, and Morgan R has a bunny rabbit when we painted rabbits last week. So tell me what you put in the grass. Take a picture. Don't forget to tag us so I can see it. I saw loads of, what did we draw yesterday? Watermelons. Thanks, Joey. I saw loads of watermelons and ants. We had a snake crawling up to a watermelon. We had watermelons, giant ants eating the watermelons. We had little ants. We had ants crawling all over the place. So they turned out really cool. I got to see lots of ants yesterday. So don't forget to tag us. Take your picture. I want to see what you posted in the Moonlight here. And tomorrow, we're going to be really, really silly. We're going to use those coffee filters that are in your activity bags. So anticipating tomorrow, look for some, we can use our colored pencils. If you've got oil pastels, we could use those. Find some markers. If you've got washable markers, those will be really fun. If not, you can find any kind of markers or highlighters or crayons or whatever. We're going to put some color on our coffee filters, and we're going to turn them into a project tomorrow. So we will see you. Don't forget, Joey put all my canvases back over there. Don't forget, we've got to know numbers to put our bags together for Saturday. We're going to be painting next week. We're going to do a really cool wildflower scene. So go in and order your bags for me so I know what to prep, and take some pictures and tag us at Idea Studio, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.